Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode numero dos of How to Drift in Forza Motorsport 4. So, what we're going to talk about in this episode is we're basically going to run over some of the tips that we talked about in episode 1, and we're also going to talk about how to transition from corner to corner, and because that's an important skill to have. So we're going to go over to Free Play and select Hot Lap, and scroll over and select the Corvette ZR1, like we did in the previous episode. And you guys can pick whatever color you want. I prefer to use yellow because I think it just looks absolutely beast on this car. It just looks amazing. Make sure your settings are set the way I have them set. The most important thing to remember is to turn off your traction control and stability control, because if you have those on, you won't be able to drift. Trust me. just trust me. Also, I recommend using a manual transmission with clutch, because the tips that I'm giving apply most to that transmission setup. So once your settings are set up the way I have them set up, you're going to scroll over to the Iberian International Circuit, scroll all the way to the right, and click on Mini Circuit Reverse. This is a great track to practice drifting, practice different techniques, and it's just a really fun track to drift on in general. It's just a really fun practice track. And I would really like to know if you guys are enjoying this series. So, if you are, leave me a like and tell me in the comments. So, actually, something that you might not have known from my first episode was that I showed it in the exterior view, but actually I normally drift using the interior view. But for the purpose of this tutorial and for just for showing the different techniques, I'm going to show you from the exterior view. So what we're going to talk about first of all is the basic techniques and how going into a corner with not applying enough throttle will cause your car to just not go into its drift. For example, right here, you don't really get anything, and if you give it too much, then you spin. So it's important to find the perfect balance. On a car this powerful, you're going to want to use about half throttle. And so what we're going to do after getting out of the grass is we're going to head back over this way to a great transition section. As you can see, transitioning through each individual corner. So basically, what you want to remember about transitions are that just some things like, for example, transitions are simple if you learn how to slingshot your car. By slingshotting your car, what I mean is coming into the corner, giving it about half throttle, and when you're ready to transition, let off the gas a little bit, and then hit the gas again, as I'll demonstrate here, coming in second gear, e-brake and clutch, gas on, gas off, and then gas on again. And you should stay at this little section for a while, just practicing your different transitions, and just making it real smooth. And then once you get a little bit more advanced with it, you can carry the transitions even further into this long sweeper here. Now, this section right up here is a bit difficult, bit tricky. I get a bit messy in here. But anyway, and then coming into the final sweeper. And remember, if you're watching this series and following this series, I highly recommend using the same car that I'm using. It'll just really make the whole process a lot easier. And once you start getting used to different, going into the corner at different speeds. Try it at 40, try it at 50, and then try it at 60, and see how it works for you. and then go back the other way. And try and hold your angle as long as you possibly can, because if you're drifting for points, the more angle you get, the more points you get. So that's something, and if you're doing drifting with judges, the more angle you get, usually the higher the judges are going to judge you. Now, you can also try kicking the car up a gear for the sweeper, because it actually allows for a little more angle. And on this section, it's a bit tricky, like I said before, because you have to drift at a low speed, which is kind of tricky. But if you practice that section enough, you'll definitely get it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series. If you're enjoying it, just leave me a like and a comment. And if you have any requests for any specific drifting techniques you'd like to see, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm just going to leave you off with a nice little Burnout here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. And if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe.